Alright everybody, today we are finally, at long last, taking a look at the Ultimate Titan Battle Pack. It's about time I finally do my review on this. Too long have I sat in the shadows just watching other YouTubers do their reviews on this and finding this so easily too in like Targets and Walmart. So I wouldn't necessarily say this pack is new. It's not like super new. It's been out for a while now, but it's new for me and it's still recent. I guess that's the word we'll use. So this video is going to be long. We have 5 figures to review in this set. So I'm gonna stop yapping. Let's just dive straight into it. Let's take a look at the box first. Unfortunately, I wish I can show you this box in a more presentable manner, but the shipping package it came in was very horrid. Even with its big box though, unfortunately, it wasn't really wrapped well. Whatever bubble wrap he used did not work. And so the consequences of that was very evident. As you can see, we have big rips and creases everywhere. If this was a Funko set, I would have returned this the second I received it because we don't accept that in the Funko community. But in Playmates case, unless you really want to keep everything in the box on display, I don't. It shouldn't really matter. So we got the big window here that shows off all 5 figures. Honestly, I much prefer this over what we've got previously with like the Hollow Earth set, the City Battle set, and like the 2-packs, where it was basically a Lego set. Everything was just hidden inside the fully cardboard box. You can't see everything inside. I much prefer seeing a window where you can actually look inside the box and see what is inside the box without needing to open the box. We got our render of Godzilla and Kong, minus all the ripping marks there. We have the other logos here without the dented corner. I do really like this crown that they've gone here. This like crystal crown. It sticks out a little bit, of course. I'm surprised actually a lot of this is intact. Like there is rips, as you can see. There's a rip right there, rip right there. But like for the most part, it's actually not that damaged. And I actually do like it. Artistically, it stands out really, really nicely. You gotta remember, this is a children's toy set. And then up here, we have the list of the figures that are included. Here's what it looks like on the side. Not really much going on. And the same thing on this side, nothing much going on. And then we have the bottom with the barcodes and all that, and then just the directions on how to attach the tails for Godzilla and Shimo. And then here's the top, just the movie logo, nothing too much. And then we have the back here. Very, very nice. They just took the glams of each Titan and just slapped a description on them. So we got the movie synopsis up here. Godzilla and Kong return in an all-new adventure, pitting the almighty Kong and fearsome Godzilla against a colossal undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very existence and our own. Also, I don't know how well the camera can pick it up, but if I tilt this down a little bit, you can kind of see the what it looks like with the crystal frame and how this flap sticks out a little bit. But going back to this, we got the Godzilla description here, and then we have Kong here, and then we have Mothra. I actually have never seen the description for Mothra. That's pretty nice. Then we have Skar King, and then finally, but definitely not the least, Shimo. That is everything regarding the box. I guess it's now time to dig in and take a look at all 5 of these Titan figures. Wow, I just gotta say, with the box gone and you just look at this, that visually looks very pleasing. I tend to appreciate how things get packaged sometimes. Okay, everything is opened, everything is set up, the tails are assembled, we are good to go. Let's review this thing. So, this is a multi-figure set. There are 5 total figures we have to look at here. So I will try to keep them relatively short and sweet, but let's see how long I take. I think I should kick things off first with the Mothra, and then we'll move on to the monkeys, and then we'll move on to the lizards. I am going to make this super quick. There is absolutely nothing new about this Mothra and Gia. This exists already. As most of you may know, you can buy this Mothra by herself. With this exact same Gia figure, there is absolutely nothing different between this Mothra and this Mothra. You're looking at the exact same Mothra. Who would have thought? You're looking at a 1-to-1 comparison. Exact same Mothra. I'm not gonna even bother reviewing this because I did. I reviewed this already. And the same can be said with the Gia figure. All you gotta do is find a video in the description, and I've done a full-length review of this Mothra figure as its own, so why don't I save myself time and just move on. Next up, we got the Kong here. What exactly is this Kong? I guess they're trying to go with a frostbite Kong. I guess he like feels the snow. This feels more like a remake of the Antarctica Kong that came out a couple years ago from GVK, and they just reapplied that paint job to this new Kong mold. I just feel like the white is kind of off. I don't want to hate on this figure. I don't think it's terrible, but at the same time, it's just not really good. But I will say, comparing this Kong to the other two Beast Glove Kongs that Playmates has made prior, this one actually is a little better than this. This Kong is from the Kong vs. Skar King 2-pack. Now, if we look at this Kong, it's a little better. The white still is a little awkwardly placed, but it definitely doesn't stand out as awkwardly as the orange molten lava color, whatever they're trying to go for with this Kong. So if it was up to me, I'd say this Kong, they did a better job with this one, that's for sure. Now, obviously, this is like my 20th Kong figure. Like, nothing surprises me anymore because there's really nothing new at this point. It's just become routine to collect these figures. So I've seen everything about it. The articulation and everything, the mold, it's all the same as the other two GXK Kongs. So, of course, we have the OG Beast Glove Kong, the very first one. The head mold may be the same, but the eyes are different. So let's quickly go over the articulation. You know, lots of ball sockets, lots of points of articulation. This arm, for some reason, is very, very flimsy. Look at that. Can move his wrist, even though that part's a little stiff. Oh, there we go. Just gotta warm it up a bit. Same thing for his Beast Glove arm. There we go. No movements on his wrist because it's a singular mold here with the Beast Glove. We have head articulation as well here, like that. And then we have no waist movement. We have the legs. This one, whoa, why is this one so stiff? Knee articulation, no feet articulation, just the thigh and the knee. Same thing on this side. What the heck? Why is this so stiff? I mean, if you're familiar with one Kong figure, you should be familiar with all of them at this point. So obviously the only thing I can critique this Kong on is, of course, the white paint. So you can see they, for some reason, decide to give Kong here some white or blue eyes. I can't tell. I think it's white eyes. They actually try to put some minute changes. It's minute, but it's there. It exists. On the Beast Glove, the white does stand out pretty cool. It kind of turns the yellowness into a more pale yellow color of the Beast Glove. So I do like that. It gives off a pretty cool effect. I'll give them that. But on the rest of his body, I just feel like it's awkwardly placed, if you want my very honest opinion. So you can also see some of the white fading on his back as well, on the back of his neck. But the front and the side is really where it throws off, in my opinion. Out of 10, I'm going to give this Kong probably a 6. I wouldn't rank this one too high, but it's not the worst. It's definitely not the worst. And they do include an additional heave vehicle add-on piece. I mean, let's be honest, who really cares? Like, some people may do. That's great. That being said, let's move on to the other monkey. Okay, next up, our lanky ape dictator here, Skar King. This is way worse than the Kong tenfold. I don't really know what was the vision here. I will say, though, this is as close as you can get to his actual movie look, but it's not really done well. Let's look at the first Skar King, released last year. the original Playmate Skar King. And as you can see, the colors were very straightforward, down to just goji berry red and a bit of white. Then later on we have the Skar King from the 2-pack. The black does contrast the red pretty cool. It makes him look more war-torn. The main focus of this Skar King is yellow paint. I think it could use some work. I do like the fading effect they're trying to go for here, but it's still too obvious. And where it really makes it bad is probably the face. Now, as you saw with the Kong, the eyes are blue for Kong. Why? It's Skar King who should have blue eyes, because he does have blue eyes. I respect the vision, but could have done it better. And I think the whip is literally the same color as the original one. It absolutely is. There's really no difference. Now you can see some of the paint kind of standing out more on the arm here. And there's also quite a bit of yellow on his cheeks here. Damn. And up his back to the back of his neck and shoulders. That's pretty much all the yellow paint you're gonna get. Articulation, of course, again, if you have any of the previous Skar Kings, you should be familiar with the articulation already. He does have waist articulations, arm articulation, you know, the norm, the elbow articulation. Head can twist, very stiff, but it's possible. You can see he can twist. Obviously, the whip is detachable and you can have him hold it. I'm not gonna do that. We're all familiar with that at this point. And then we have the leg articulation, thigh, knee, obviously no feet articulation. And that's about it. From the 3 Skar Kings that Playmates has put out in this size, this one has to be the worst one. I still think the giant Skar King is the best one Playmates has done. As much as I trash this figure, it's not the worst. I think I'm gonna give the Skar King, let's give him a 6 out of 10. That's all I gotta say. So let's move on to Godzilla. Now this Godzilla, that's a whole different story. God damn, Playmates cooked with this one. This Godzilla looks nothing like his previous versions. A little spoiler, I did see the real feel Godzilla that I don't have yet, but it's on its way. I did see that real feel Godzilla, they absolutely nailed it with the pink. Now, unlike the Kong, which I said it was just an attempt to make him different with a slight paint job, this one, oh yeah. They went all out for Godzilla here. Let's pull out his previous version. So here's the original evolved Godzilla, and then here's the Godzilla vs. Shimo Godzilla from the 2-pack. Same old, but my god, the differences cannot be more obvious. This is obviously pulled from the final battle when he goes Super Saiyan mode on Skar King, and I think Playmates did a pretty good job with this. I did see some people complain about it. I think it looks fantastic. I'm very, very impressed. Granted, would be nice if he had some eyes, because you can see, at least you can still see his eyes for these two, but no eyes here. You look at the old ones, they look more on the reddish side. This is like fully purple. It's not even pink. Purple is what they went for, like a magenta color. Now, if you've watched all my reviews, you'll probably hear me say this multiple times. There's one thing I've consistently critiqued these Godzillas for, and that's, ironically, the inconsistencies of the dorsal plates. That is completely out the window with this Godzilla's case. Look at how well the purple is. It is so consistent throughout the entire figure. Instead of making him transparent purple throughout his whole body, what they did is just spray paint. It looks like they spray painted his like normal gray body color with purple, just to have it like seep through. In a way, it makes it look unstable, and that's good. It looks like Godzilla is like not really in full control of harnessing that power. From the feet to the body, the arms to the head to the tail, all of it looks really good. Now, it's not perfect. I will say they went a little lazy on the bottom part of the tail here. You could have just finished the paint job, honestly. You can just hit it with the spray paint and there you go. The purple just kind of awkwardly cuts off here and it's just plain gray here. Yes, the purple kind of shifts from transparent to solid color on the tail, but here's the thing. It's the same tone of color. It doesn't look off compared to the older Godzillas. The elbow spikes, yeah, would have been nice if they made this transparent too, like his back, but oh well. Look at that purple. That transparent purple color just shines very, very nicely with the lighting and everything. I don't know how well it's reflected on the camera, but that is crispy. Now, articulation, you've seen one, you've seen all, obviously. You got the ball socket articulation with his tail. You have the leg articulation, only his entire leg, no knee articulation. Then you have the feet swiveling. Also like to point out the magenta color under his feet. Same with this one as well. Full leg movement, swiveling up the feet. And then you have the arm movements, you know, just forward and back, so you can have him go on a jog, no elbow or wrist movements. I mentioned earlier how they didn't have eyes for him. You can see the eyes, but it's kind of like concealed with the purple paint. So from a distance, it does look like he's got no eyes. So I guess that's what they were going for, but it would have been nice if you could actually see his eyes. So they did include a heat ray piece, but this is literally the same one from the previous two Godzillas. Nothing new about this. I don't think it's that hard to recolor this, right? Also because this one, for some reason, the jaw isn't really opening that wide. I can't really stick the heat ray piece into the connecting hole. I think I'm just gonna have to have him clamp like that. Yeah, that's the best you're gonna get. But look at how off it looks. It doesn't match with the purple. You have purple here and it just shoots out pink red. Playmates, it's down to just one little detail, one little thing, and you could have had a perfect Godzilla figure here. I will rate this one a 8 out of 10. I'm very, very happy with what I got here. It's not perfect and it has its issues, but it is truly one of the better Godzilla figures Playmates has made up to now. We have one more to go, and that's of course the Shimo. So let's look at the Shimo. And last but definitely not the least, we have our girl here, Shimo. Now, when I saw the Godzilla in this set, I was like, God damn, he looks good. When I looked at the Shimo, I also said, huh, she looks interesting. It's cool that they went with a more darker color tone of Shimo, because we're just used to seeing her in her light blue and white color scheme. So she's a very bright Titan. She's a very colorful Titan. And so to have this paint shift to a darker tone is interesting, because the dark blue here is seriously countering the white skin. There is some serious contrast going on here, and I think it really works out well. The only thing I would say that looks weird about this one is the eyes. I don't know why they went with like a black outline white eye. I really don't think you needed to change up her eyes. Of course, when we pull out her first ever form, this was the first ever Shimo, of course, and then we pull out the 2-pack Shimo. This one's my favorite. I really like this Shimo. They all have their own unique colors, and the blend is just done so well. Granted, if I had to rank all three of them, I think I'm gonna still put the 2-pack Shimo here as number 1. There is just something really cool about 3 different colors matching each other. But this one, bold, and I think it paid off. But the eyes for this one and the original one, well, it's the same, so it looks better. I would confidently put this one in second place. Now, her dorsal plates, let's call it that, has always been that dark blue color, so it matches the overall body paint pretty well. Goes hand in glove. So while it's contrasting the white skin, it matched the dorsal plates very nicely. That is basically what I'm trying to say here. The crown also looks very nice. The mouth, well, it's just yellow teeth, pink tongue, that's about it. And then when you look at the bottom, it's just, yeah, most of the white stands out at the bottom and all the blues at the top. So it's very 50-50 as well. So I like that contrast. They kind of clashed in the middle here, but you have fully white here, fully dark blue up here. Now that's color consistency. That's something that the Skar King struggled to do. Now articulation, again, you've seen it once, you've seen it all, but in case you forgot, well, let's run it through quickly. So of course, being a 4-legged creature, she has articulation for all 4 legs. Her front legs can open and close, forward and back, and you can twist the feet as well. And then the same can be said with the back legs here. Of course, the back legs you can't open up, but you can move it forward and back and twist the legs. Then of course you have the ball socket tail articulation, and then you have the neck articulation. Look at that. Oh, 3. Okay, that's very cursed, but that's possible. And then of course you can dip the head down, dip the head up, and finally the jaw open and close. I will say the tail here maybe could use some work. You can see the white kind of seeps through and goes back here on the top up to the tip of her tail. This is okay. With the dark blue fading into the white, yeah, It ends off pretty well. But here is where it looks a little awkward. The white trying to stick out here. They should have just kept this in the dark blue color as well, just for that consistency. So that looks a little off. Yes, it does include the Frostbite Blast piece. Again, is exactly the same as the previous two Shimos. You've seen it once, you've seen it all. Same thing as I said with Godzilla's Heat Ray. I wish they gave us a new color of this instead of just literally pulling up the exact same one. If this was the same dark blue that matches this, perfect. Unlike the Godzilla though, the Shimo's mouth should be wide enough to put the piece in. Out of 10, I will give this Shimo a solid 8 out of 10 as well, like the Godzilla. It's fantastic, but it's far from perfect. It has some issues as well. Did it beat the 2-pack Shimo? Absolutely not. This still remains a top for me, but I will happily give this Shimo a second place. If I had to rank all these 6-inch Shimos, there you go. So that is the last figure. Let's wrap up this review. I think this is alright. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I feel like this is just an excuse for Playmates to say that, oh, you can get all 5 main Titans. If you buy this 1 pack, you can get all 5 figures. Happy days. While that is true, and yes, each figure, with the exception of Mothra, has their own unique, exclusive prints to this set. At the same time, it's nothing that special. I like the Godzilla here. I also like the Shimo here, but I'm not a fan of the Kong or the Skar King. Again, sometimes Playmates is a very hit or miss when it comes to colors. For the monkeys in this set, very much a miss. The Mothra, it is what it is. There's nothing new about her. So they should have absolutely at least changed something up with the Mothra. Have a slightly different color, slightly different print. Anything to make this Mothra different from her standalone figure set. If you were to buy a single 6-inch regular figure, you're gonna be paying roughly around $17 to $18 Canadian. So you are saving a bit of money. Now, I have not seen this set in retail. You're paying your money to get 5 figures, and if you don't have Mothra, if you never found the Mothra figure on her own, well, then this is obviously a perfect way to get Mothra. But are these exclusive prints, these new prints, despite 2 of them looking cool, 2 of them not so much, is it even worth putting more money into buying these? Or are these just, you know, another gimmick, another cash cow for Playmates? Because there is some exclusivity to this set, I guess it's up to you. In my opinion, I just feel like this set is just another attempt by Playmates to get more money. A cash cow, a gimmick, and a lot of the upcoming figures too, I would probably say the same things, but that's for the future. Looking back at the set as a whole, obviously I gave each of the figures themselves their own ratings, except for Mothra. As a whole, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. It's not terrible. Maybe if it was much easier to find up here in Canada, then, you know, wouldn't really be an issue. I'd have to overpay quite a bit to get this. I'm not going to mention how much. I paid more than I needed to. But my main point is, if this was more accessible, then absolutely. You get your bang for your buck here if you find this in retail price. So that's pretty much all I gotta say about this Ultimate Titan pack. Ultimately, in the end, I was really just looking at new prints, and I'm sure a lot of other people buying this set will also think the same thing. Let me know what you think. If you agreed with my opinions or not, I'm open to all comments. For now, thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out the reviews for all the figures that I compared these with, go check that out. And of course, the full detailed review of Mothra, go check that video out. Obviously, I didn't really do it in this video, so go check that out. Hit the like, subscribe, do all the nonchalant stuff, and we will see you in the next video, whatever that may be.